I remember looking into the mirror and being like, who is this bitch? I was so puffy and inflamed in my face. I'm not even kidding you. I didn't recognize myself. I don't know if we could label it like some kind of dysmorphia or whatever, but I just knew like something was happening to me and it was affecting my physical appearance. I already knew I felt like shit, but I was also having my appearance change, which did not help. And it was actually like really, really affecting my confidence, especially because I have to be on camera. But yeah, I'll insert pictures of like puffy Bria. And you know what? She was still cute. She just could not figure out what was going on. And that was one of many catalysts to me trying to figure out like how to heal myself from within. I had a very strong intuitive feeling that something was wrong with me on the inside, not necessarily something on the outside. I'm sure for a majority of our issues, it's probably a deeply rooted problem. And so for me, it was, along with other things which I've now figured out, my cortisol levels weren't necessarily in the best place. And to be honest with you, I did get my cortisol levels tested at some point, and they weren't terrible, but they weren't good. They were kind of just in between. I just had other bigger problems when we did that test. For example, my hormones were much worse. But regardless, I still did a lot of things to try to help my cortisol levels, especially because I saw that they weren't like stellar, but they were kind of mediocre at best. And I wanted to not trend upwards, but keep them at a good level / go down a little bit. So I am going to go into some things that helped with cortisol levels for me, things I've learned from my doctors, University of TikTok, and yeah, just my own intuitive, like plug and play type of practice. I've had to just see what works for me. And I've also talked to many other women who've had the same problems. So I'm excited to kind of tell you what works. I feel like knowledge is power, and the videos I've been making recently that have to do with wellness and appearance, like it really all ties back to wellness. I hope you've noticed that. I wish I had these videos, guys. I don't want any of you to feel like you have no way of knowing where to start when it comes to your body and trying to feel good, because like we should feel good. And I will say this in every video that has to do with wellness if I remember: do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking that you feeling like shit is just normal. It's not. And you deserve to feel energetic, happy, peaceful, calm, all the things. And Bestie B is going to help you if I can help it. But before we jump into that, hello 75K Club. Thank you for clicking in. If you're not in the 75K Club, be in the 75K Club. It essentially means that you are one of my very, very special besties, one of 75,000 of them who chooses to come click in every Monday to help support this channel. That's literally what that is. You're supporting the podcast. You're supporting every aspect of my content creation just by showing up every Monday. And it's just a free way that you can support me and help me out. If you want to know more about that, I'll link the video that talks about the 75K Club. But I'm super happy to see you guys here. And if you are here, roll call in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Share this episode. You know what it is. Hashtag 75K Club. And let's keep it going. This is our group manifestation and we are not sleeping on it. So cortisol, you guys. High cortisol levels can lead to a slew of problems. And I know that like I've come from the superficial stance of like, hey, cortisol level will make your face puffy. It'll make you inflamed. It'll just kind of make you look a little bit fluffier than usual. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, that wasn't comfortable. There's other things too that cortisol can kind of be in correlation to, like unexplained weight gain, especially around the abdomen area. You might find that you're getting, a lot more stomach fat. And this was something that was happening for me. Like everywhere else was kind of like, okay, but my pants were just not fitting. So it was literally sweatpants are all that can fit me right now. That was my life and that was fine. What else? Disrupted sleep patterns. You might experience waking up often in the night. That can be a sign of cortisol. It's like your stress hormone, and sometimes your stress hormone's going off at the wrong times, therefore waking you up. Mine was The 3 a.m. pee, you might think that's normal. It's apparently not. Sometimes I still 3 a.m. pee, so I'm trying here. Fatigue and low energy levels. Okay, this can definitely be a sign of cortisol levels being out of whack, unfortunately, but there can be a lot of other reasons for these things too. I'm just going to point that out, but these are some of the most common symptoms. You can look these up yourself too. But fatigue, yes. Muscle weakness, high blood pressure, impaired immune function, leading to frequent illnesses. This is another thing I feel like happened to me. I kept getting like something. I was always down with something, never quite feeling 100%. I had a few like urgent care visits. It was just like, man, I am like all sorts of out of whack. Anxiety, this was huge for me when I was really at the peak of my issues and really just suffering internally. Anxiety felt so much bigger than me and felt like such a monster. And I do want to say, if you suffer from anxiety, you can get through it and you will. And I am living proof of that. I worked relentlessly in the past couple of years on, getting my body and my mind in a good place. And it took a lot of work, but I'm in such a good place. And so I hope that anxiety does not have to rule your life. It might take some work, but you can come out of it. Irritability, mood swings, digestive issues such as bloating and constipation. The constipation is a big one for me. I still deal with that on the regular. It sucks because I feel like I have to be super regimented to have happiness here. And you know what? I've accepted okay, it is what it is, because when I feel good, I work better, create better, all the things, but I really can't fuck around. So that's the caveat for me. Difficulty concentrating or memory problems. Yeah. So I checked several of those boxes, and I think some of those could be attributed to other things. We know I have ADHD. So there are some things that kind of cross over into other lanes. But if you resonate with any of those symptoms, it's probably worth just doing things to make sure your cortisol levels aren't an issue. That's kind of the preventative action of making sure your levels stay in check is always a good idea, especially if you're a woman, because we are such hormonal beings and we have so much we need to balance constantly. This is just one more thing we can do to help ourselves out, So let's get into how you can actually help keep your cortisol levels chill. Mindfully starting the day. We've talked about this in other videos, but I want to reiterate that mindfully starting the day and getting to a place where you can ground yourself is crucial on so many levels. Particularly, we want to stay away from jumping right for the phone. We are human beings, okay? In ancient times, our bodies weren't equipped to be seeing blue light in the first hour, few seconds, hell, whenever. But as humans, we've adapted to needing to see sunlight. We need to see the light outside, actual UV rays, because that's what wakes our body up. That's what signals to the brain that we're ready to get going and gets your circadian rhythms going. So if the first thing you're doing when you wake up is picking up your phone, then you are stressing yourself out. When I say stressing yourself out, that doesn't mean you necessarily saw something that stressed you out. You are stressing out your body and your brain and your mind, because your body is not supposed to be digesting blue light so early. That's the kind of stress we're talking about here, not literally oh my God, I'm so stressed. It's more on an internal level when I say that. So you want to give yourself the best chance at having a good day, right? So just avoid it for an hour. Do your morning routine. Create some kind of routine that allows you to be super mindful and grounded. Even if that's just 5 minutes of reflecting on the things that you're thankful for, that's powerful. And you might not think it is, but over time, starting your day like that is really such a flex, because you're able to really take control of where you want your mind to go. The first few thoughts you have in the morning really tend to drive the rest of the day. At least that's what I've noticed. So if you can just, before you get out of the bed, reflect on a few things you're thankful for, reflect on how you want your day to go. Think of the actual steps you want to take during the day. It's so powerful, and it really helps me to have an actual good day. For me, I like to get up. I like to go outside on my patio, maybe have some water and some tea, listen to music or listen to a meditation, really just do whatever. And I will forever make sure that this is a part of my life, because I can't have a good day without making sure I'm in a good place. And so that helps me show up to be a good content creator that helps me to show up to be good in terms of my relationships, a good wife, a good friend, a good everything. But I have to show up for me first. So even if that means in the future I have to wake up earlier, then I would do that. There have been times where I've woken up at like 5 a.m. to be able to get my routine in, and I would do it any day. Am I doing that right now? No, but I will if I have to. And it's worth it, okay? If you're like, I don't have time during the day to do that, can you get up like 15 minutes earlier? I bet you could. And it's so worth it. Okay, now that we've had a warm up, let's get real. Sit down for this one because you might not like it. Your body could be responding to certain people in certain circumstances, okay? Is that man next to you giving you moon face? Be fucking for real. Okay, maybe it's not just that you're randomly stressed out, you're randomly having cortisol spikes. Maybe that man sleeping next to you is the cortisol spike, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. Here's the thing, guys. It might not be a man. It might be a friend. It might be a job. There might be something in your life that is causing quite the stress. And here's the thing. It's hard to heal yourself when you have to continually put yourself in a stressful situation. So if possible, let's trim the fat where we can and keep people around us that bring us peace, keep circumstances around us that bring us peace. And sometimes that means being very brave. I'll be the first to tell you, I quit many jobs that just did not make my soul happy. Okay. And it took a lot of planning, strategy, and bravery. You don't just like quit a job willy-nilly, like make sure you have a plan going. I knew that I wasn't happy with my work life. Okay. And I knew that if I didn't do something about it, it was going to be my narrative. So change yours. It might take time. It might take planning. It might not be an overnight thing, but change your narrative. Your body is always telling you what is for you and what's not for you. Are you listening? If a relationship feels like work all the time, and if you are having physical and mental responses to that, pay attention to it. Have you suddenly developed anxiety in your relationship? Baby, that's not normal. If anything, your partner should be bringing you peace, not a headache. So pay attention to how people make you feel. If you don't feel relaxed, if you don't feel safe, you're damn right your cortisol levels are gonna spike. So before you go get that tub of magnesium from Costco, why don't you work on the situations you're putting yourself in? You might not even need the magnesium at the end of the day. You know, there's not a supplement for everything. Sometimes it's just making hard decisions, or in some cases, using your common sense and knowing that certain people are not serving you and certain situations just aren't serving you. And it's really not that deep. Get rid of that, man. I'm not going to spend time telling you what not to eat, but I do want to tell you things that can help with your cortisol levels. So what you could focus on are dark leafy greens, nuts and seeds, fatty fish, bananas, avocado, dark chocolate, herbal tea. Add a little bit of that into your plate in some form or fashion, and it's really going to help you over time. But you don't need to spend so much time thinking about what should I cut out of my diet. And that's kind of what my next point is. Stop focusing so much on what you cannot do and focus on the things you can do. When we tell ourselves we can't do something, 9 times out of 10, on some very deep level, that causes stress. It's like something you have to remember. It's something, a rule now that you can't break. And when it comes to food, and I've talked about weight loss, I've talked about certain things, go a few videos back, but when it comes to food, for me, what I've noticed is focusing on what can I add in, right? For example, for me, I love sugar. I love myself a sweet. The thing is, if I tell myself I can't have a sugar, I'm going to eat a sugar. I might eat 10 sugars, okay? Instead, I say, what can I have today that is sweet? That's also nutritional for me. So now I give myself the option of fruit. I give myself the option of dark chocolate. I look at all the options that I do have and I choose from that versus looking at the cup half empty, like, oh, I can't have a milkshake today and explode my guts. I could, but there's also like other things that might hit the spot that also won't cause a situation. Okay. So focus on what you can do. It's not going to stress you out nearly as much, I promise. The goal here is to not stress out over unnecessary shit. And part part of that is maybe just playing with how you think of things, just slightly tweaking your thought process, slightly tweaking your habits instead of making everything such a big jump. I know a lot of you have fitness goals and a lot of you want to look a certain way, be a certain way, have a certain lifestyle. You don't have to do this in a way that stresses you out. I think we confuse stress for progress sometimes, where we think if we're not stressed out, we're not progressing. That couldn't be more of a lie. When I actually stopped stressing out when it came to like losing weight, that's when I lost the weight. I stopped freaking the fuck out over losing weight. And I was like, oh, so like I can lose weight and it doesn't have to be a war zone? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it should be that way. You shouldn't have to think about it all the time. Have fun. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to do things and have like a soft life approach to having goals. And I think that that's more sustainable, because when you're having fun making a change, the change will last. If you have to torture yourself and hold the gun up to yourself while you're trying to make a really big change, you're going to feel like a prisoner. You're going to feel like it's a punishment. And now your brain is associating the change with bad and punishment. And you might be able to do it in the short term, but then in the long term, how does that work out? You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to your cycle, okay? We need to start paying attention to what time of the month it is and what activities need to be done during those times. You shouldn't be doing Shaun T insanity workouts the entire month. You're a cyclical being if you're a woman. Therefore, we need to adjust the workout routine, okay? In fact, I would argue that you would never catch me doing something so high intensity like that, to be honest with you, even in my follicular phase, which if you don't know what that is, that's the phase of your cycle where if you want to go Shaun T, that's the time to do it. But you wouldn't catch me doing it. You wouldn't catch me doing a burpee. You wouldn't catch me doing any of that shit. It is completely possible to work out and make progress and do it in a way that doesn't stress out your body. Walking changed my life. I have done every workout, you guys. I have worked with various trainers. I have stressed myself out in the gym. I've worked out every single day. I've done twice a days. And the only time I started to hit my fitness goals was when I got the fucking walking pad. A walking pad. Yes. The 10,000 steps a day is really a great marker for success, because the point is get yourself in a calorie deficit if you want to get leaner, if you want to lose weight. That was personally my goal. I'm not saying that's your goal. I made it so complicated. I was stressing myself out in the gym by, doing 2-a-days, going to work with a trainer where I was doing burpees, incline walks with fucking kettlebells in my hand. Like, what? And then I would be so shocked when I would go home and eat the entire pantry. Now I'm not in a calorie deficit. So I was like, what's the problem? Like, the scale's not moving. My body's not changing. In fact, I feel like my pants don't fit now. Like, what's going on? I was more bloated than ever because I was like gulping down protein shakes. I fucking hate protein shakes, bro. Oh my God. I literally to this day cannot drink protein shakes. Like, I've never talked about this, but no one knows how bad it got for me before my wedding in terms of like fitness goals. Like, I brought my protein powder on vacation. AJ and I took like a little vacation before the wedding. I brought protein powder and a scale. I was not doing well. Okay. I was just so paranoid that I wasn't going to look the way I wanted to look on my wedding day. And I just wish I could go hug that girl, because the whole time I was doing the fucking most. But again, it goes back to what I was saying about how if I didn't feel like I was being tortured, I didn't feel like it was working. I didn't feel like I was actually doing enough cardio. I didn't feel like I was eating the right foods if it didn't feel like a punishment. The idea of having something so fucking delicious and like being in a calorie deficit was beyond my brain cells at the time. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that I can have my cake and eat it, quite literally, and still hit the goals that I want to hit. So you don't have to torture yourself, but also you shouldn't be stressing yourself out with these workouts. You can do whatever workout you want to do. And my recommendation, what's worked for me, is just having fun with the workout. I love Pilates. I love like any any type of quick paced workout. Like I've been doing solid core lately. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with solid core now. I'm not even kidding you. Again, I really gravitate to workouts where the room is dark, the music is loud, and I can't think about anything but the burn. Like that's what I like. But also I don't do solid core around my period. So just have fun with it. The rest will work itself out. But really getting your steps in, if you have a goal and you want to get your cortisol levels down, it's so good for that. It is so good for that. I will link my walking pad down below. Also, if you guys want a video around like how you can easily get 10,000 steps, let me know, because I think I really hacked the system with getting in so many steps. Like last year, I think my step average was like 18,000 because I was psychotic about my walking pad and just like little tricks that I would do to just get more steps. So if you want to know some of my little sneaky hacks that I would do to up my step count, let me know, because I always see people talking about like, I don't have time to get 10,000 steps. I'm like, yes, you do. You actually do. You just haven't like thought a little creatively about how to get the steps. So you're not going to get the steps. Also, if you say you're not going to get the steps and that you don't have time, then you don't have time. Change your mindset. So again, if we're keeping the cortisol levels down, what does that mean? That means let's avoid stressful situations, right? Stop being toxic. Yeah, we're gonna stop looking for that person to look at our story. Too real. Stop. Because if they don't, you're going to be stressed out. I'm going to need you to start worrying about things that matter. I know I'm a Scorpio. You don't have to tell me about toxic behavior. I tell you guys every episode, I'm a Scorpio. I know what you guys think like. I know. Stop surrounding yourself with messy people. Stop consuming drama. Stop putting yourself in dramatic situations that are messy. Like stop. I need you to be above that. What would Beyonce do? You would never catch Beyonce in that shit. Think about it. Every time you want to like respond to something petty or be a part of some mess or fuel some drama, even if you're a bystander, but you kind of like listening to it, observing the drama, I'm going to need you to stop. I'm going to need you to pump the brakes because you're just as bad. Stop doing that. Your cortisol levels are high because you're having too much fun over there with the toxicity. Called you out because I love you. I think that when you can go internal and really focus on things that matter, focus on helping people, focus on doing things that will make this world a better place, because Lord knows we need it right now. Lord knows we need it right now. And I'm pushing myself to do the same. Like, you know, if you see someone who needs help them out. Just be that. I feel like we used to be better about like the humanity aspect. And there's something very dystopian lately about humanity for many reasons. You can see what's going on in the world right now. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Okay. And I don't care if it's as simple as just helping someone open a door. Be the kindness, the little extra bit of kindness in someone's day. Tell them they look cute. If you like their outfit, tell them. Let them know. I feel like we're getting away from that. And I don't know. It's been meaning a lot to me lately to see acts of kindness, but also to be that for other people. And I think that internally that's going to do something wonderful for you. I don't think that's selfish at all. Like it's helping you, but it's also helping other people. And we need to do more things like that. Remember, everything you do, everything you observe and consume is contributing to something, even on an energetic level. But if you're watching the latest TikTok drama, if you're consuming it, you're a part of it. You're perpetuating it. You are perpetuating a narrative. And if that's okay with you, then that's fine. But I think if you really want to take care of yourself and you want to get your cortisol levels down, you shouldn't be fueling yourself with these kinds of things. Like, chill out. Sometimes it's not for the better, you know, especially when it's your drama. That, like, I can't even be a part of that stuff anymore because, like, it actually ruins my entire day. It exhausts me mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I feel it on every level. And I realize I have to just log off. Most of it comes from my phone. Log off. Another thing I want you guys to do is start laughing more. You have a stick up your ass and it's bothering me. Do something fun, or I need you to turn on something funny. Who's the funniest person you know? Could you hang out with them? Could you guys go eat lunch or something? I need you to have a good laugh. Sometimes for me, I found that that like doing kid-like activities really helps me. For example, me and my sister went to the park yesterday and we just like went on the swings. Why were we just kikiing, laughing on the swings? I don't know. It was a simple act, but for some reason that really just gets me in a good headspace. And I do feel good after going to the park and kind of like releasing some stagnant energy in the body on the swings. Yes, me and my adult self at my big age out there with the little tykes, you know? Hey y'all, like I'm over here too. We're having a great time. So just think of other ways that you can kind of channel your inner child. Sometimes I'll take them to the arcade. Love that. It's just a chance to kind of get away from the computer, the internet, and just tap in to being a kid. Even if it's just for like 30 minutes, it will make you feel so much lighter. And I know that helps the stress levels. I just know it. What the frick, you guys? Dance more. Go out and shake your ass. So I don't know if I'm getting this right. Like, let me Google it. I don't want to say this wrong, but there's something called like a somatic release. I think that's what it's called. Oh, yes. Somatic release. So, you know how like when a dog is stressed out, it does like the anxiety shake sometimes? That is like their primitive instinct to release negative energy. And something that I find helps me is doing the same thing with my body. So I would go to hot Pilates a lot, and there's a class that I would take that's like a cardio dance type of workout. If you ever go to Shine Hot Pilates in Dallas, they do Pilates but combine it with like dance, and it's fun because it's in a dark room. It is heated, so be ready to sweat your ass off. But if you want to get like movement in and release that in a way that you feel like people aren't looking at you, that class is perfect. Tell them Bria sent you, or DM them on Instagram that Bria sent you, and they might give you like a little discount because we were doing something. I'll ask them if they'll give you guys a discount. But yes, things like that, or even if it's just dancing in your bathroom naked, like whatever, find an opportunity to kind of shake it out, or just do that. Literally shake off negative feelings and set the intention that that's what you're doing. Picture negative emotions flying off you when you shake. I have a shake plate that I stand on. It's a vibrating plate. It's for lymphatic drainage. And I swear when I'm anxious, standing on that really helps to just flush out negative feelings and emotions. So don't sleep on moving to release stress. I think that's really powerful. A lot of you also need to touch grass, quite literally. Like, go outside. Nature therapy is so real. Being one with nature, smelling the smells, hearing the sounds, being outside is so good for us. And I'm gonna need y'all to go outside a little more this summer, okay? It's a hot girl summer. It's a hot bestie summer. We need to get outside. Really, when I was like going through my journey last year, I spent every day by the pool. Every single day by the pool. Yep, you could guarantee it. And that will be me again this year. And I really think it healed me on some deep level. Like, me and the sun, we were besties. Healed that depression right up. Wear your sunscreen though. I think this one is probably the most important, and that's why I'm saving it for last. When you have an emotion come up for you, we are going to start processing that full throttle. If you feel sad, if you feel mad, we're going to handle that. If you feel like you need to cry, I want you to cry. I want you to go to the bathroom, do what you have to do. You can cry in private, cry in the car, cry in the shower, whatever you do. The reason you feel like you need to cry is because your body is telling you you need to cry. And I have never felt like something is more important now than that, because I've realized that my emotions, they're there for me to release. So when you're crying, you're letting go of that cortisol, and you have to start seeing it as letting go. You can't see it as a weakness. You can't see it as like something that's bad or whatever. No, your body is doing what it needs to do to regulate. So you have to help your body regulate. And when you stop yourself from expressing your emotions, or when you stop yourself from crying and things like that, you are now absorbing the emotion, and everything is energy. So what's going to happen is that emotion is going to go somewhere. What we don't want is for your emotions to turn into ailments, sicknesses, diseases. We want to let go of it. So cry, bitch. Cry me a river. Yes. If you're mad, well, when I'm mad, what I like to do is I like to work out, and I like to like picture myself getting vengeance in my own way through a workout, like releasing that, like, oh, you want to call me? You want to call me a name? And I'll just like hit the row machine like extra hard. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just getting over it. I'll journal. I'll write it down. And if it's real bad, I'll just tear it out and I'll rip it up so nobody reads that one. Cause yeah, I don't got locks on my journals. Y'all ain't gonna be canceling me if never mind. So journal. And just journal. How else can you release your emotions? I mean, obviously the good emotions are easy to release, right? It's the bad ones that we have issues with. If you feel anxiety, dance it out or whatever, write it out, do what you need to do. If you feel jealousy, let's get deep. Maybe talk to someone, talk to a friend. Again, if you don't feel safe doing that, you can always journal. You can always tell the journal won't tell anybody else. Rip the pages out, let it go. Honestly, I like ripping the pages out afterwards because it's kind of like, okay, I've released this. It's like a physical, I'm throwing this thought away type of vibe. But if you go back to my video about weight loss, you'll remember that I said, I believe I put on weight when I felt unsafe. I believe I put on weight when I was not processing my emotions. Therefore, the emotions manifested on me physically. That's my belief. And that's at least what I've found to be true since I've tried to fix those things. So let it go, and you will probably notice that when you can relax, your body can relax, and you'll see that on a physical level. But more importantly, you'll probably see the reflection within your hormones if you get them tested. But yeah, you don't even have to always get your hormones tested to know that your stress levels are down. If you feel stressed, probably just take these steps, But I would love to know what you guys are doing to help your own cortisol levels. If you've had any issues with your cortisol levels that you know of, or if you think you do, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. But I hope these tips can help you out. These are things that I try to implement. Of course, I'm not perfect in implementing these things all the time, but I have noticed a significant change for me. And I know that being consistent with them puts me in such a good spot. And now my hormones do reflect good results. The cortisol levels are not just okay, they're great now. And so is everything else. And I think that is a testament to just changing my lifestyle up and being more mindful about my habits. So let me know what you guys do. Thank you so much for tuning into the Because I Love You podcast. I'm Bestie B, otherwise known as Bria Jones, and I'll see you on Monday.